Just going to put a little bit, because the impeller's going to get replaced anyway, because I bought a new one. But you just got to hear it go wrong.
Oh, he's dipping back there.
Oh, jeez. Just going to put a little bit.
Let me scoot back.
This is like when Bryce and I put a little bit on a four-wheeler in the garage. Burnt my pants, burnt my shirt, burnt my coat. And I was out in the front yard in my BVDs rolling in the snow, putting out a fire. Yeah. Cut. Get her out of here.
Come on, Kate.
You started out looking for a four-wheeler that was in need of repair. So I found two of them. A ridiculous low price, thinking we can make one out of two. So I went and got two of them. Neither one of them run. They were both terrible condition, been in a garage for a long time. Some of the pieces and parts were still missing. Now, help me if I leave anything out.
No.
So far, we're good.
Yeah.
I brought these two four-wheelers that needed repaired home, and the Lone Ranger needs Tonto, Green Hornet had Cato, and all through history there were dynamic duels. Bryce and I at one time were a dynamic duel. So we started working on Bryce's. We rolled that thing into the garage, and then what happened, Bryce?
Well, we were cleaning it all up. We took the carburetor apart. We had it sitting in this bowl full of all sorts of chemicals and stuff that were flammable. And we were cleaning it out. And we finally get it all back together and put the carburetor back on. And I can't remember what happened, but the bowl got spilled all the way down Grandpa's pants and all over the floor. And so we wiped it up with a rag, and we decided that that was good enough, that we would start trying to start it. So we turned the key on and started cranking it a little bit, and we decided that it was getting too much air and needed to be choked a little bit. So we put the same rag over the carburetor that was soaked in the flammable liquids and started cranking on it. All of a sudden, I looked down and saw an orange glow, and then next thing I know, Grandpa's throwing the rag on the ground and trying to stomp on it. And before you know it, I'm seeing flames and running for the door. And Grandpa's over there screaming and hollering, and we ran over to the door, and Grandpa's telling me to pull the emergency red handle to open the garage door, and I'm looking back and forth, and I can't see it. And so Grandpa comes running up, and that was the moment that I noticed that he was on fire. And he points up at the handle. It was directly above my head. So I pulled it, and we threw the door open, and he runs out and starts rolling around in the snow. It hadn't snowed the whole year. It was the first time that it snowed.
Horizontal snow. It was a blizzard. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like, it was supposed to be that way, to put the fire out.
Yeah. So Grandpa's rolling around in the snow. Meanwhile, the door comes back down and locks. It closed. And so we're freaking out because we're looking and we know that it's still on fire inside the garage, but we can't get back into the garage. So I run around the back side of the house and push the garage door opener, and we pulled the four-wheeler out. Grandpa's still smoldering, trying to get his clothes off, and we ripped the four-wheeler out and threw it, started getting shovels and throwing shovels of snow and all sorts of stuff. Grandpa's running around in his underwear. And then
So
finally we got everything put out pretty much for the most part. It was still smoking a little bit, and I think we only burned a box of that pig feed and a couple other things, a corner of the table, but other than that, everything else was good.
my pants were ruined.
Yeah.
They had holes in them. And my coat caught fire, and it had holes in it. I was patting and trying to put that out. Bryce had a snow shovel. He was throwing snow. I was rolling in snow. And I had my shoes on and my shirt on and my underwear. And it didn't stop snowing the whole time. But the worst part of all was when I went in the house and had to walk past Grandma.
Try and not let me see it.
And I walked in 10 minutes later, and Grandma looks at me and goes, "What just happened?"
I didn't say anything. I just acted like a regular day in the office. Yeah.
Is it on?
Yes.
All right, so I missed the last part there where Bryce was talking about the incident. But let me just say that most of the time Bryce is pretty quiet. When he sits at the dinner table, we have to dig stuff out of him. Most of the time his sentences are 1 or 2 words long. Well, on the day that this incident happened,
It's an incident.
Bryce, what do you want me to call it? This episode happened. Bryce said about 3 or 4 paragraphs. It was pretty unusual. And we sat at the dinner table and laughed, and I could imagine the whole thing in my mind, like a movie.
But these are the projects that make 80-year-old men have fun. Gets them up out of the chair. Did you hear that? We've got ignition. Should we do it again? That felt so good. We got sustained ignition. Tell him about the part where when he left me, I says, when you get home, they're going to ask you, what have you been doing today? How did it go? How did it go?
Well, it fired right up.